Backrooms is the newest horror film from a YouTuber, so let's talk about it. But before we get into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on push notifications to stay up to date on every single one of my videos. But let's get into today's review. So I was already intrigued by the premise of Backrooms, and I've known about, the lore, I've known about all of the stuff since it was released back in 2019 and with like the picture on whatever 4chan or whatever. So I've been interested in the concept of Backrooms, but I hadn't fully watched all of the web series all the way through. So I decided to, before going to see this movie, that I was going to rewatch the entire web series, and I did. Web series is really good. The first short film that Kane Parsons or Kane Pixels made, the found footage one, masterful. Masterful. It is such a good short film. And the fact that he was able to make that web series entirely in Blender and just completely 3D rendered it is just absolutely insane. It looks super real, and it just has that liminal, nostalgic, existential dread feel that just is such a good horror feeling. So I got even more excited for this movie, and I saw it with my brother and a friend of mine, and we both left the theater disappointed. But don't leave the video yet, because I am anything but disappointed with this movie. We left the theater feeling disappointed because we needed to have more time to think on it. It's one of those movies. It's one of those movies that you see and then you just need a couple days or hours to think about it, and then you appreciate the movie that much more. It's literally the first thing I said when finishing the movie. I was like, I feel like I'm disappointed, but I also feel like it's one of those movies that you have to think about for a little bit, and then you'll appreciate it that much more. And that's exactly what it was. We've thought about it a little bit more, and we have so much to talk about. Speaking of, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our podcast, me and my brother's podcast called Sips of Cinema. The video won't be posted until this Friday, but we do talk about it a lot more and more in depth. But yes, I really enjoyed Backrooms. I thoroughly think it is a really good movie. Now, I do think it has some faults. I feel like it does fault in the script aspect. I think that it focuses a little bit too much time on our main characters' subplots or character development. Although I think their character development is important and crucial to the story, I think that with the runtime, because a lot of people are complaining about how they don't feel like it's long enough, but it's not that I don't think it's long enough. I think it's long enough. I just think they needed to focus a little bit more in the back rooms, or bringing light to the back rooms, or just giving more information about the back rooms in a whole. Not necessarily giving us an answer, but just giving us more to work off of. And although we get a little bit of that for the back rooms, I feel like they focused a little bit too much on letting us know that our characters' motives and their experiences are important. Like, we understood that. We understood that our characters are having these memories or are having these feelings for specific reasons, and they have obvious goals. And that was obvious. That wasn't something that we needed to be reminded of a lot. And that was just my biggest complaint. Also, I wish that the film was done more as the found footage, because the found footage sequence in this movie is so damn impressive and so scary. It was like the scariest part of the film, and it was done so perfectly. If there's one thing that Kane Parsons knows how to do, it's doing something handheld with movement and just overall atmosphere. It's so good. It reminded me so much of the first Backrooms found footage one. It was so good. That scene was perfect. It was like, if that was just a short film in itself, it would just be a masterpiece. But the fact that it really only shows up once in the movie is kind of a fault, but not really, because I appreciate the rest of the film. But I think that overall found footage feel and that, fuzzy and grainy kind of look to it adds so much character to the back rooms, and I feel like we missed that a lot throughout this movie, but whatever. Every single thing that took place in this movie felt out of place when I was watching it. But after thinking about what actually went on with our characters, with all of their trauma and emotional situations, it all was starting to make more sense, and it has me theorizing a lot of things. And I think that's what's so powerful about the Backrooms, is that the Backrooms is this thing. It's not this one thing that has to mean this specific thing. It is just a thing that many people can just come up with their own interpretations of what it is. And that's kind of where my mind goes. Like, I kind of am, imagining what, spoilers ahead just a little bit, but I'm imagining who Captain Clark really is. Is Captain Clark actually Clark? And is Clark the entity? Like, did the entity take the place of Clark to try and become this normal person so that they can escape the backrooms and live in a civilized society? We don't know. Like, that genuinely is not even like, it's a spoiler because of Captain Clark's character, but it's not a spoiler in how that's what it actually is. Nothing's really answered. And it kind of leaves it up to your own interpretation as to what is really going on within the backrooms. Is the backrooms a living place? Is it just a mysterious place that showed up out of nowhere? We don't know yet. There were a couple hints in the movie that led to that idea that the backrooms could be a living thing, because there was like this graffiti that said that tables don't bleed, which was like, well, yeah, in this, like, in the backrooms, tables don't bleed. But does that mean, well, tables don't bleed, but I certainly do. The backroom certainly does. It's just, there's so much to it, which is why I like it so much. I love a movie that makes you question things. And although I wish it did a couple things differently with its script and the ending, even though I do like the ending, it was a really enjoyable time. I had a really good time with it. And I think that it's a horror movie that a lot of people are going to love. I feel like either someone's going to really like it a lot or really hate it. Like, there isn't a middle ground of like, yeah, it was good. Like, I didn't gain much from it. No, I think it's really going to be like, dude, this just even added more to the Backrooms lore, or it's going to be like, I have no idea what the Backrooms is. This was not interesting to me, whatever. And sometimes movies are just like that. And, I think Kane Parsons absolutely knocked it out of the park. I was talking to my brother about this on our podcast, and you'll see it this upcoming Friday. But we were talking about how the Backrooms and Severance kind of have those like similar vibes, and how Severance could have taken inspo from that Backrooms concept of like this liminal space and the idea of being centered around like everything yet nothing at all. And it really like was making us think about those connections. And then we were like, Kane Parsons definitely needs to direct a Severance episode. I think that would be so cool. So to those watching this video who have anything to do with Severance or whatever, or Kane Parsons, link them up. Having Kane Parsons directing a Severance episode would be amazing. I think it would be amazing. I don't think there needs to be a crossover episode of like the Backrooms and Severance, but I think with how Kane Parsons directs and films within that liminal space and does the like found footage so perfectly, it would make a great episode of Severance. But anyways, back to the Backrooms. This movie is really well done. I think it's really well done. And I can appreciate a movie that you need to think about for a little bit. I feel like so many people want satisfaction immediately, which you can get with movies, but some movies really do some movies really do give you that opportunity of really having that chance to think about it and kind of process what you actually saw. Because what I thought was just not interesting actually turned out to be like, oh wait, everything's sort of connecting in very strange ways, which is kind of what the whole Backrooms concept is about. Everything connects in very strange ways, and you don't necessarily know how these things are connecting, but they do. And at the end of the movie, we were kind of questioning that, like, we wanted more. Like, they should have just given us a little bit more about the Backrooms, and that's exactly what they're asking at the end of the movie. It's like, you were stuck in here. Can you give us at least a little bit, like just a little bit more, just so that we can learn a little bit more about the Backrooms? It's very good, and there are so many endless possibilities to what the Backrooms could lead to and what kind of movies that we could get. I think if we go down the rabbit hole of just making the same movie over and over again, we'll not be interested anymore. But I think with what Kane Parsons is doing as far as enhancing and kind of building this world is so unique and different. And my brother mentioned this on the podcast, which you'll see this Friday, like I said. But we were talking about how, well, he mentioned this, is that it feels like it's our generation's version of like mythology. Like, this is like one of the first things that's like, there is no answer to it. It kind of just came up out of nowhere. And everyone's been making their own interpretations to what the Backrooms is. And I think that is awesome. I think we need stories like that. We need substance like that. And it's really cool that Kane Parsons is the one to bring that to us. And if you know, if he is constantly handed as much money as he wants, I think he can continue making very interesting versions of Backrooms to not only give us more reason as to what the Backrooms could mean, but also give us more reason to what the Backrooms means. I mean, it's so particular in storytelling, and I really appreciate that. I really do like it. But yeah, the Backrooms was really well done. I think I'm gonna go see it again just so I can like really get like wrap my head around these thoughts. But yeah, Backrooms is really good. And you know, great job to Kane Parsons. The movie's made at this point, you know, whenever this video gets posted, it's probably made 45 to 50 million dollars. That's insane on a $10 million budget, dude. That is absolutely incredible. So all praise to Kane Parsons. You know, he deserves his flowers. That is amazing. Just an incredible achievement to, you know, doing this when he was 16 and then getting the opportunity to make this film when he was 19, and now he's 20, and now he's breaking all these sorts of records. He's the youngest director to be at the #1 film on the charts. I mean, that is just, I can't even imagine how he's feeling right now. But yeah, Backrooms is great. Great job to Kane Parsons. I hope more people go see this movie. Just fill up those theaters. It's one of those movies that people will be talking about for years. And hopefully they will expand it. I think, you know, it would be a mistake if they don't. But yeah, that'll bring you to the end of the video. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of it. I appreciate every single one of you. But remember, your movie moment is right around the corner. See you in the next video.